Camera 1, camera 2, we are recording. Happy days. Excuse me, put my gloves on in front here. Just get myself sorted. And away we go. Yep, side stands up. Ready to rock and roll. Good morning folks, how are we all doing? Ladies, gentlemen and children of all ages. Right then, again, good morning folks, how are we all doing? For those of you who have not been to my channel before, I'm Grumps of Grumps Rides. That's the nickname I go by. And what I do is I ride around on this bike, my BMW R1200R Sport. Yes, they do make other bikes in the range other than a GS. And I also have a Royal Enfield Himalayan, known as the Brian. For those of you who've ever watched Magic Roundabout will understand why I call it the Brian. Anyway, moving on. This is purely for those who've not been here before. Just to explain who I am. I basically ride around on my bikes, have a bit of fun, film what I'm doing, talk absolute rubbish, all for fun. I don't get paid, sponsored or anything to do this. It's purely me doing it off my own back just for the fun of it. Recently, or last year it started, I was very lucky to be asked to review some bikes for M&Ps in Cardiff. If you don't know the place, they sell Harley Davidsons, Ducatis, Aprilia, Royal Enfields, BMWs, all sorts. And they got a big clothing department there as well. For the sake of full disclosure, as they say, Mrs. Grumps does work for the company, which is probably why I was asked to do the reviews. So that's it, that's me riding around, talking rubbish, doing silly stuff. I do a bit of light off-roading on the Himalayan as well, and I fall off on camera. I do reviews, that sort of thing. Charity rides, whatever. All for fun. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do consider it. It's absolutely free, you don't have to do anything. Just click the subscribe button. And when you do, next to it is a little bell. If you click that, it'll come up with various comments. If you click all, that will notify you every time I put up a video. Roughly once a week-ish. All depends how busy I am and what I've been up to. Obviously I work for a living as well. Good job, I'd never make enough money out of this. Wouldn't make enough just to run my bike. Yeah, if you care to subscribe and click all, appreciate it. And then when you've watched my videos, if you like what you see, please click the like button. If you have any sort of comment to make, in the comment section below. All this interaction helps with my YouTube channel for YouTube's famous algorithms. And I don't think anybody knows how they work. Apparently the more interaction I get, the more they promote my videos, the more airtime I get, that sort of thing. It all helps. Anyway, I really appreciate it. For those who've not been here before, or are curious as to why, if you have been here before, at the end of my videos I always do a customary toodles. It's something that's become a bit of a catchphrase of mine. It's also something which I religiously do, otherwise I get into trouble with Mrs. Grumps. Now Mrs. Grumps, my poor suffering wife, she has to watch my videos before I put them up on the channel. Well, she doesn't have to, but she does. She's like my proof editor, as it were. So she has to suffer watching them every time I make a video, whether she wants to or not. I better not let her see that bit, as I... Anyways, she knows when I say toodles at the end of the film, end of the video, it's over, she doesn't have to watch anymore. So she quite likes that bit. If you go back through all my videos, you'll see one where I was in trouble with Mrs. Grumps because I forgot to do it. So there we go. That's my basic introduction to who I am, what I am and what I do. Ow. Right, today's video. I'm basically just out for a nice ride because I got a day off. Yesterday was glorious, it was dry, sunny, quite warm. Today it's quite damp and overcast, which is a shame, but never mind. I ride all year round in all weathers. Oh, excuse me, crack the voice, that's smearing. Right, today's video I thought we would talk about training, as in advanced training, after you pass your test. Now I passed my test some 35 plus years ago. Back in the days when they had to wave a red flag in front of you, as they walked along, in case you scared the living daylights out of the dinosaurs. But yeah, I passed my test like 35 years ago plus, and back in those days you were allowed to ride up to a 125 on L plates for 2 years. You had to take a compulsory test then within 2 years, which was basically riding around some cones in a schoolyard. And then you did your second test, your main test, which was right around the block near the test centre, and the examiner somehow would vanish from one street and appear in another street and watch you go past. That was it. Because they'd done that 30 odd years ago. Nowadays there's all this CBT, Mod 1, Mod 2, and to be honest I haven't got a clue about any of that, having never dealt with it. So please don't ask me, I ain't got the foggiest. Find a reputable training company. Now when I say reputable, what I suggest you do is you go onto forums and Facebook, etc., and see which companies have been recommended by other people who've dealt with them, been with them, trained by them. Reviews from people who've actually been with the company are far better than anything else, and they're more honest. Yeah, if you have passed your test, the next stage, if you want to, and it is a personal choice, is to do some form of advanced training. Now, contrary to the popular belief, you're not as good as you think you are, at least most of you ain't, and that's the truth. I'm not being insulting or rude, but this is the truth. A lot of people think they're a lot better rider than they actually are, and training is well worth it, honestly. Now and then you'll find something called a bike safe course come up. I've done 2 of them, but technically I did a taster, which was just the road part, then I did the full course afterwards. And personally I think it's one of the best things you can ever do. If that's all you do, that's fine, but it's one of the best things you can ever do. What bike safe involves is a training day with your local police, and they're alright actually, it's good fun. You'll spend the morning in the classroom doing all the theory, talking about the reasons why they do everything and how they do it, and it's a basic introduction into the minimum police training before they're allowed on the road. And most of it is about road positioning, observations, that sort of thing. And then in the afternoon you'll do what's called an observed ride. You'll go out, usually in a small group of 2 or 3 riders with one examiner, tester, observer, I don't know what you want to call them, and they will watch how you ride, and at the end of the day they'll give you a written report where they tell you how well you did, sort of thing. Now don't get me wrong, they don't put you down at all. What they'll do is they'll say, yeah, great, your road positioning is good, your observations are good, etc, etc, and they will highlight any areas where they think with a bit of training you can improve. They're not trying to put you down or tell you you're rubbish, they're advising you, and it is advice, on where you can possibly improve your riding with some training. Most people go from the bike safe course to a more advanced training course, like for example in Wales we have the Dragon Rider course. Don't know a great deal about it myself, so please do look it up. That involves a much more intense and in-depth training day or couple of days. The advantage you have having done a bike safe course is you take your paperwork along and give it to your new trainer, and they know then what you're good at and what you need to improve on, so you're not going over old ground. Makes life much easier for you and for them. Now I highly recommend a minimum of doing the bike safe course. Why? Because I've done it. I always thought I wasn't a bad rider. I never thought myself as a particularly good rider or a fantastic rider. I thought I wasn't bad. And a lot of things were highlighted on my bike safe courses which I never ever thought of. Not that I was doing anything wrong, it was just stuff I never ever thought of. Like for example, road positioning. Now if you watch my videos you will notice I tend to be, for want of a better phrase, all over the road on my side of the road. generally. Simple terms, if you're coming up to a left-hand bend, if it's safe to do so, and this is a priority, is safety, move over to the right-hand side of the lane. You can see further around the corner, you've got more time to react. You slow down, you select the correct gear before you get to the bend or the corner, and you'll sail through. So obviously if you're going through a right-hander, you move over to the left-hand side of the road. As I say, it all depends on how safe it is to do so. If there's oncoming traffic, if there's a gateway, side roads, etc. All this will be explained on your course. Now, on this course, a phrase was mentioned, which, if I've got it correct, and I could be wrong here, the comment was that smooth is slow, slow is quick. Which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to most people, including me, until you try it out for yourself. Now, what I did after doing my first taster course was I rode from Brecon to Llandovery on the same road I do all the time in the summer, or I think it was my Z800 at the time, and I rode down in my normal old school manner, if you like, which was pretty much the racing lines, screaming down the road, hard on the brakes, down the gears, turn the bike in, cut the apex, power out the other side, power on, up the gears, you know. Real, I think I'm Valentino Rossi style. I'm not. I'm more Ross's eye cream. But that's how I rode down there, and I took a rough timing of how long it took. I didn't do a stopwatch or anything. I just looked at how long it took me roughly by clock. Then coming back, I decided to ride the way I was shown on the bike safe course, with the road positioning, moving the other side of the road, changing down the box, preparing myself for the bend, getting the right speed, right gear, all this sort of thing. Now, I was travelling at the same sort of speeds, overall speed, in both directions. And yet it took me probably 5 to 10 minutes less doing it the bike safe way than my way. I thought it took me longer because I felt like I was going slower. I wasn't so hard on the brakes, I wasn't so hard going down the gears or accelerating as briskly coming out of the bends, and I wasn't leaning over quite so much, but which kind of made it feel a lot slower, yet it was actually quicker, proving the point that smooth is slow and slow is quick. Mad, isn't it? Okay, moving on. Training courses. If you've not heard of it, there's an absolutely fantastic course called Biker Down. Now, Biker Down is a first aid course based entirely around the idea of you being first on scene at a motorcycle accident. And what you should do. Silver Fox Cafe, lovely place, been there a few times. Yeah, the bike safe, no, try again. Biker Down is basic first aid training, but it's all planned around first on scene at a motorcycle accident. Now, a lot of people wouldn't have a clue what to do. They may think they do, but you'd be surprised. Again, proper training, world of difference. Most of us, if not all of us, know the one golden rule is you never remove a helmet. Actually, that's wrong. There are circumstances when you do remove a helmet, very few, and not only do they teach you the when on this course, but how to do it safely, which is worth its weight in gold. You could save someone's life by attending these courses. They're normally 3 or 4 hours in the evenings, often they're free, and to be honest, it will, and I hope to Christ nobody ever has to actually use the training, but if you do, it will save someone's life. I can promise you that. I've done first aid courses, part of my job. I'm actually due for a renewal, a refresher, which is brilliant. but they are general first aid at work courses. Biker Down is a first aid course purely based around the event of a motorcycle accident and what you should do. Right through from when you first come across the incident to the end of when you walk away, hopefully happy in the knowledge that you just either improved someone's chances or even saved their life. Could be a friend, could be a mate, could be a complete stranger, could be a family member, could be anybody. We all know the chances we take on the bikes and the chances of us having an accident. Having that bit of ammunition in your arsenal to deal with the incident properly and safely, just the knowledge of it is fantastic. Again, highly recommended. If you see one advertised, get yourself on it. It's well worth it. I know when I did it, they gave you a free little first aid kit as well, which I actually carry on the back of my Himalayan for when I go off-road. I don't have it with me on the BMW, I will be honest, only because I don't have room in my bag. Otherwise the bag gets too big and heavy. It's only a little pack. You can fit it under a seat if you've got enough room. But yeah, I carry a first aid kit with me and some disposable gloves just in case whenever I go out on the Himalayan. So yeah, absolutely fantastic course. Okay folks, that is going to be it for today, for this video. Now those who've been to my channel before will know what's coming. Those who haven't, this is my normal ending. I normally ask you to like, share, subscribe, all the usual. As I said at the beginning of the video, it all helps my channel. And the bit I always say, and it is most important of all, is whatever you are doing, please folks, be safe, ride safe and have fun. And the bit I warned you about, which if I don't do, Mrs. Grumps gets ever so slightly annoyed.